The Aztecs, also known as the Mexica, were a prosperous Nahuatl-speaking people native to Mesoamerica, from central Mexico to Central America, before Spanish contact. At its height, the Aztec Empire spanned an impressive 130,000 kilometers, with the capital city of Tenochtitlan boasting over 140,000 residents, quite a feat at the time. Have you ever wondered where I get the incredible soundtracks, captivating sound effects, and stunning visuals that appear in my videos? The answer is Envato. This extraordinary resource is a real treasure for content creators like us. Envato distinguishes itself by its all-in-one. Not only is it a platform where you can find music, images, and videos, but it also offers templates, special effects, and art to boost your channel's presence. What I like the most about Envato is its versatility. Whether you're a video creation beginner or a seasoned veteran, it's the place for you. So if you're ready to take your content to the next level, I encourage you to give Envato a try. You will find the link in the description. And remember, by clicking on the link, you will not only be raising the quality of your creations, you will also be supporting this channel.
You complete me. I love you.
Come on, jump over to Envato, and together we'll make our content truly amazing. Number 1. Omateotel. In Aztec mythology, he was a binary god, responsible for the creation of the universe. The Aztecs believed that before Omateotel created himself, the universe was unknowable, and for all intents and purposes, did not exist. Residing in the 13th and highest heaven, this god existed outside of human influence and rarely interacted with other deities. There has been a debate among scholars about the nature of Omateotel. Some have argued that they represented a dual god, while others argued that this was a misinterpretation imposed on the Aztecs by historians who read a divine multiplicity, similar to the Holy Trinity, in the translated texts. Omateotel was unique among the Aztec gods, in that no temple was ever erected to them. After creating themselves and having children, their role in Aztec mythology was minimal. Although his sons were 4 of the most important gods in the entire Aztec pantheon, these gods operated independently of their father's influence. While the Aztecs believed that Omateotel was immensely important due to his role as creator of the universe, the Aztecs also believed that he was beyond the reach of human influence. Consequently, they did not build temples or offer sacrifices to him. Omateotel's first notable action in Aztec myth was to bear 4 children. Although the first 3 of his children were born complete, the last son of Omateotel, Hutzilla Pochli, was born without meat, only bones, and would remain in this state for 600 years. During this time, the other gods simply waited for Hutzilla Pochli to complete himself. They could not create the world without it. Number 2. Hutzilla Pochli. The famous Aztec god of war, Huitzilopochtli, was the patron god of the Mexica people and a key figure in the creation of Aztec cosmogony. He led the Aztec people to Tenochtitlan, a fact not easily forgotten. So much so that half of the city's Templo Mayor was dedicated to him. Fallen warriors and women who died in childbirth were thought to become part of his retinue. After accompanying Huitzilopochtli for a period of 4 years, the fallen warriors would be reborn as hummingbirds. Befitting his status as a god of war, he was believed to be an immensely powerful warrior. He wielded a shield, war darts, and Quetzalcoatl, a lightning-like fiery serpent, as a spear. Despite his amazing martial prowess, the Aztecs believed that Huitzilopochtli could be defeated. Legends held that the god of war would one day meet his mate, and that his fall would mark the end of the Aztec Empire. Huitzilopochtli played many roles within the Aztec pantheon and was revered as the chief god of war. Sacrifices were made to him after every victory and defeat, and the dawn of creation even stood still and awaited his arrival. Number 3. Yakatakutli. Purifier of the earth and renewer of things, also associated with warriors and rulers. The word Zeewittli means year, time, and fire in Nahuatl, which is why some sculptures in his honor have turquoise mosaics, the same that were buried during rituals. He is represented with reeds on his head as a headdress to put out the fire. His figure resembles that of a stooped old man carrying a huge brazier to symbolize his ancient origin and wisdom. Number 4. Zypetotec. was the Aztec god of agriculture, the seasons, goldsmiths, and disease. He was often depicted wearing a flayed skin suit, and the ceremonies associated with him emphasized his choice of attire. Such rituals usually culminate in a fresh skin suit made and worn by a statue of Zypetotec, or one of his priests. Until recently, historians relied on post-conquest Spanish texts for information on the origins and cult of Zypetotec. However, in 2018, an excavation in Puebla, Mexico revealed a temple dedicated to the worship of him. The temple, which dates back to 1000 BCC and 1260 DC, belonged to the Indachiantahuacan people, who were later conquered and absorbed by the Aztec Empire. It is possible that the Aztecs already considered Zypetotec as one of their main gods before this conquest, since they shared a significant part of their pantheon with neighboring ethnic groups. According to Codex Ramirez, Zypetotec was born reddish all over. In most artistic representations, Zypetotec wore a flayed skin suit that was typically yellow or gold in color. His own exposed skin was often shown in red. While sacrificial stories were a common element in many religions, the Aztecs took this element a step further by engaging in a multitude of sacrificial rituals. Zypetotec was just one of the gods that the Aztecs sought to appease through human sacrifice. Number 5. Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec version of the feathered serpent deity, was the god of the wind, bearer of corn, and instrumental in the creation of the Aztec universe. Although he originated as a god of vegetation, Quetzalcoatl's role in Aztec myths expanded over time. When the Spanish arrived in the New World, Quetzalcoatl was considered the god of the wind, patron of priests, and inventor of calendars and books. He was also occasionally used as a symbol of death and resurrection. The feathered serpent deity, common to much of Central America, first appeared in images, statues, and carvings beginning in 100 BCE. Depictions of the feathered serpent generally took the form of a carved serpent head set on a wall, with further reliefs depicting feathers or birds. These carvings also included a conch, which was a symbol of the wind. Starting around 1200 AD, the way this god was represented began to change. From then on, he was often portrayed as a man wearing a conical hat, conch shell pectoral brooch, shell jewelry, and a red duck-billed face mask. Quetzalcoatl's role in Aztec cosmology was complex and multifaceted. While he was responsible for creating humanity and providing them with their staple crops, it was his brother Tezcatlipoca who ultimately ruled the modern era. Number 6. Tlaloc. Tlaloc, the Aztec god of rain and one of the oldest Central American deities, was worshipped for more than 2,000 years, and his influence persisted long after the Spanish conquest. One of the oldest and most worshipped Mesoamerican gods was the Aztec god of rain and thunder. It was by his blessing that the seasonal rains arrived in time for the vital corn harvest. While rains from him often brought life to Mesoamerican societies, they could also take it away. If they came at the wrong time, or in the form of intense storms, the rains could ruin crops and cause droughts or floods. Tlaloc is one of several gods that the Mexica people refused to completely abandon after the introduction of Christianity, and in many ways, the veneration of him was never completely abandoned. These first images of Tlaloc were found on vases in Tlapacoya and showed his face next to lightning bolts. While we can't say for sure what Tlaloc's role was at this early stage or even what he was called, the imagery used to represent him remained remarkably consistent even over long periods of time. The Aztecs offered sacrifices to it to ensure that the seasonal rains arrived in time for a successful harvest. Before continuing, Aztec mythology is very rich and wide. I have tried to bring the gods with more possible images to try to make the video enjoyable for you when you watch it. If this video reaches 1,000 comments, I will try to collect more Aztec gods and curious religions and their different gods, so take advantage to suggest future videos. Number 7. Mclanticutli. One of the oldest gods in the Aztec pantheon, Mclanticutli was the Aztec god of death who ruled over Mictlan, the land of the dead. Like Hades, the Greek underworld, Mictlan was the place where most people spent the afterlife, regardless of their moral standing. This god was most commonly depicted as a skeletal figure, although reliefs depicting him as a skull with eyes have also been found. He was sometimes shown with his mouth open, ready to receive the stars that set and disappeared during the day. In the Aztec universe, each of the cardinal directions was associated with one of the divine realms. Instead of serving as a judge of the dead, Mclanticutli simply tried to maintain order in his domain. This desire for order sometimes led Mclanticutli to clash with other Aztec gods and his more creative desires. Number 8. Yakatakutli. In Mexican mythology, he is the god of commerce, patron of merchants and exchange, mainly in commercial trips. Travelers and merchants entrusted themselves to this figure. The rituals of sacrifice and offerings for this god were intended to keep the roads where travelers would travel clear and safe. Another ceremony that was used to honor him was the washing of the feet of the merchants when they arrived from their journeys, accompanied by offerings in the local temple. His name means the Lord of the Nose. He is represented as an old man with a stick formed by the union of sticks that guide the path of the walkers. His headdress is made of Quetzalcoatl feathers and gold earmuffs. His symbol is a bundle of rods. Traders carried an uttle staff as they moved from village to village, selling their wares, and at night tied them together in a neat bundle before dousing them with blood. It was believed that this ritual in honor of Yakatakutli would guarantee success in future business, not to mention protection against ferocious beasts and thieves on his travels. Number 9. Koteliku. She has been called Mother of all the gods, and legend has it that she was the mother of Huitznahuac, gods of the southern stars, as well as the goddess Quetzalcoatl and Hutzilla Pochli, with whom she unexpectedly became pregnant. Koteliku is depicted as a woman with a skirt of writhing serpents and a necklace made of hearts, hands, and human skulls. Her feet and hands are adorned with claws, and her breasts are depicted hanging limp from pregnancy. Her face is formed by two facing snakes, after her head was cut off and her blood gushed from her neck in the form of two giant snakes, in reference to the myth that she was sacrificed during the beginning of the current creation. According to Aztec legend, Quetzalcoatl was magically impregnated by a ball of feathers that fell on her while sweeping a temple and subsequently gave birth to the god Hutzilla Pochli. Her daughter gathered the other 400 children of Koteliku and incited them to attack and behead her mother. The instant she was killed, the god Hutzilla Pochli suddenly emerged from her womb, fully grown and armed for the battle, where he killed many of her brothers and sisters. Number 10. Methstly. Her name means the Black Moon. Lunar observation was of great importance to the Aztecs, since eclipses, comets, and other celestial phenomena could have catastrophic connotations. In addition, these observations allowed them to create a schedule to improve their harvests. She had the power to dominate the water through a snake that appears in different representations of her. She can also be seen wearing a skirt with embroidered crossbones, symbolizing the death that the inclement floods can cause. Number 11. Ixlilton. Before seeing the last top, remember to subscribe and above all comment. This is the only way for YouTube to recommend the video to more people. Comment, even if it's to laugh at my pronunciation or the weather in your city. And now we can continue. Healer of diseases and caretaker of children's health. He had the power to heal sick children, who went to the temple to ask for their healing through dances and pre-Hispanic concoctions. When the child got better, his parents offered a celebration at his house. His name means the one in black face, and depictions of him capture just that. In Aztec mythology, Ixlilton was the Mexican god of medicine and healing, which is why he is often referred to as the brother of Mclanticutli, the god of well-being or good luck. He too was associated with dance, presumably because dance was a part of many medical cures. From the account of the general appearance of the temple, it would seem to have evolved from the tent or primitive lodge of the healers or shamans.